and welcome once again back here to my channel. It is myself, Josie, and as you guys can tell, I'm not in my typical backstage surrounding, I guess you could call it. I'm not either in my car or B in my breakfast area working on centerpieces or showing you guys how to make centerpieces. I am live and direct from my craft room, and I swear to you guys, once I get life together and everything else that falls in between, I will be giving you guys a tour of my craft room. But before I start, guys, if you haven't done so, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and also don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys know when I upload another awesome video. I will start giving out notification shout outs, so don't forget to comment below and letting me know that you were notified about this awesome or any future videos. Well, as the title says, I'm going to do something different on my channel this time. It's not a family vlog. It's not a DIY. It's a story time kind of thing. And as the title says, I will tell you guys about my lupus story. And I have been thinking and planning about doing this video for the longest now. I think maybe a year, and I didn't want to do it in the sense that I don't like people thinking that when that you're telling somebody you have a condition, because then either they look at you like you're weak, or they look at you like they want, people think you tell your story because they want sympathy. You want sympathy from them. And if you guys know me, and if you guys follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, on YouTube, or if you guys just personally know me, you guys know that I require sympathy from nobody. I do what I do, and I bet you a lot of you guys didn't even know I had a condition. So what is lupus? Lupus is an autoimmune disorder. So what that means is that my body, my cells attack their own cells. So, when you get sick, your typical flu, your body recognizes that as strangers in your body, right? And if there's a stranger in your body, your immune system automatically defends you and fights that the flu. It fights it until you get better, right? It takes a couple days, right? But when you guys are in that, in the flu state, quote unquote, you're miserable, right? You just don't want to get out of bed, and oh, well, it's me. And if you're a man, it's even 10 times worse. No offense to men, but we it's horrible. It's a horrible thing to have the flu or the cold. But thank God for our immune system, like I said, and it identifies it as a bad thing in our body and attacks it. So what my immune system does is it just attacks everybody. It doesn't like anything in my body, and if it sees it, it will attack it. So what my kind of lupus is it attacks organs if it wants to, and causes inflammation. So I don't know if you guys could tell right now, and pardon the nails not being done, but my hands are swollen right now. They're swollen. I know they're swollen. You could tell by how my ring is hugging my fingers, and it's happening. I don't know if you guys can tell also that because I'm telling my lupus story, I get a little bit not stressful but anxious. So I will start flaring up, and you will start seeing a butterfly shape rash on my face. And that is one of the telltale signs if you have lupus. So let me back myself up. When was I diagnosed, or how did I get diagnosed, or how did I know I had lupus? Well, it started maybe about 7 years ago. I'm going to say right after I had my daughter, about a year after I had my daughter. I started with, I was just so tired. And I'm not talking about I just have a newborn, I have a busy lifestyle, tired. I was like tired. Like I could be sitting down and all of a sudden I call it a gray cloud. It just overpowers me, and all I want to do is sleep. And that's all I was doing, sleeping, right? So I went for my annual checkup. I told this to my doctor, and he said, well, maybe you have sleep apnea. And I'm like, well, what's sleep apnea, right? He goes, it means that you stop breathing when you're sleeping, and that causes your brain, lack of air to your brain. Therefore, you feel really tired in the morning. And I'm like, you know what? That could be it, because that's me. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh Jesus, I can't get up for the life of me. So he referred me to this doctor area where you go and they put all this stuff around you, and it's super scary. I'm sorry, it was scary for me. And you spend the night there. Yes, guys, you have to fall asleep. And so that was that. I came back, and the results were given to my doctor, and I was seen by my doctor. My doctor said, you know what? It came back negative. You're good to go. Other than a little bit of snoring in detected, you don't have sleep apnea. If anything, you sleep like a baby. And I'm thinking, well, I know I sleep like a baby because, I sleep through things that I shouldn't be sleeping through. Like, if I'm deep sleep and there's an earthquake, guys, that's it. I slept through the earthquake because that's how tired I am. So then a year passed, right? And not only was I feeling tired, if I was out in the sun and came back in, hold on to dear life. I was just on fire. And as I feel like I am right now, guys, but it's not because of the sun. It's because, I'm a little bit anxious about telling my story. And so the next year when, I get annual checkups, I told my doctor, how's it feeling? Everything. You know what I said? And I started noticing the rash that I'm telling you, right? And my skin used to be flawless, and it just wasn't flawless anymore. And not only that, I did start noticing, like I said, the hands. The hands were getting swollen. So then I go to my annual checkup, and my doctor says, how are you feeling? I go, you know what, doctor? I am still tired. I'm fighting through the day. Not only that, I cannot be out in the sun. I go in the sun and I'm on fire. I feel like I'm on fire inside. And not only that, my hands are getting fat. I'm getting swollen, and he's like, I haven't asked you, but does anybody in your family have lupus? Now, at this point, my mom had mentioned something about lupus, but she didn't call it lupus. I think she tried to explain to us what she had. All we know is that she was comparing it like cancer in the blood or something like that. I'm like, cancer in the blood? Well, that's not right. But she, at this point, I'm thinking she had it already for about 11 years, and she had it under control. So we really didn't ask about it, but he did ask me, do you think, is anybody in your family diagnosed with lupus? And I'm like, no, right? Other than, strokes in my family, we don't have any conditions in our family. So then he said, you know what, just to get out of the way, I'm going to go send you to get some tests done, and determining there we could, continue. Maybe you're just, God, what was that name he called? It was called adult acne, right? And I'm like, no, can't be that, right? I've had acne in my life. I mean, I had the typical 1 or 2 pimples, throughout my teenage years, but I didn't think anything about it. So, I'm back. My mom's like, how'd it go? I go, he mentioned something about lupus. And then she's like, I have lupus. And I said, is that what your condition is called? And she's like, yes. I can't believe you guys don't know. I'm like, I don't know, right? And that's one of the things, side note on lupus is that unlike any other disease, like cancer, you can't really see it physically. My hair doesn't fall out. I don't get super, sick, or I'm not in and out of the hospital, thank God, depending on the spectrum of lupus that you have. So I didn't question it that my mom had that condition. I go, well, he said if anybody had it in the family, because lupus is heredity. It's a heredity disease. I don't know how I'm saying that, guys. Excuse my English. But if somebody in your family member has it, then you're most likely going to have it. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Lady Gaga has lupus. And Lady Gaga has songs, and an album an album with songs dedicated to her aunt that had lupus. And so she too was diagnosed with lupus. And so I said, oh God, you know what? It's going to come back, right? So mom's like, well, what are they going to do? They're going to do an ANA testing. It's called the I'm going to put it down below, guys. But it's this test that you go and take. And it's like what seems to be 10,000 bottles of blood. And it's just, you go in there and they, 1, 2 tubes, 3 tubes. And every time they put that tube in, a different tube, it just hurts. It was painful. So needless to say, I went back for a follow-up. And sure enough, they said I was borderline lupus. And what he said, he had noticed the prior year that I asked, that I was telling him about my sleepiness and my tiredness and the different symptoms, my liver came back slightly big. Now that means that the lupus at the time that I, did blood work, was attacking the liver. So when my body's attacking a certain part of my body, it's the swelling that comes. And with inflammation comes pain, which I had a lot of pain. But I've always had pain in my stomach because I love to eat, guys. and that's just been me since I was young, right? So I'm like, oh my goodness, right? So I was dying. So I went to a rheumatologist. I hope I said that right, guys. And I went to one here locally in my area, and sure enough, he read the result and ended up that I was diagnosed with I forget the name of it, guys. I'm gonna put it down too because it's not a systemic lupus I can't say, guys. The thing is, it's called lupus, and I was sad. Yeah, I was sad. I'm sad. Sad and happy because now I know what we have. And like anybody who's been diagnosed with anything, as soon as you know what you do have and what's making you, feel all this stuff, you're happy because now we have a way to either fix it or mellow it or control it. And I was put on Plaquemil. I think that's the name of it. And which is the medicine my mom's on. And it did not work for me, guys. I was going crazy. It was doing things to my stomach that it was just painful, right? And I remember mom telling me, take it with milk. Mom, nothing's working, right? So I made an appointment right away, and they put me on a different kind of medicine. I will put it right here. Take a picture of it, guys, because it's in the medicine cabinet right now. And it's 4 big ones every Wednesday I take. And then so, they instruct you, what to avoid. Avoid the sun. Avoid this. Absolutely no alcohol. That to me was like, oh crap. Now let me tell you about that. Let me tell you a side note about that. I used to drink like a fish. Okay. If you guys are watching this and know me, you're probably shaking your heads like, yes, you did. What happened? Life happened, guys. I have 2 kids. I have an 11-year-old and I have an 8, soon to be 30-year-old daughter. And I don't know if this happens to you guys, but when I think about passing away in a preventable accident, let me give you an example. I would hate to get in a car accident because I was drinking and driving, and people have to explain to my kids that the reason they no longer have a mommy is because I decided to get behind the wheel while I was drunk. It just drives me crazy to think of me passing away like that. So when they said you need to stop drinking, not only because you're on medicine, but because your liver has to be top point from now on, if we want to control the lupus. If not, do what you want. Because there are people out there that drink while they take medicine, guys, and they're living a happy life. I don't want to gamble that. So, as I told you guys, I drank like a fish. I drank, we went to parties, typical Mexican family, I drink. I quit cold turkey. I didn't need beer to begin with. It was just there. I drank it. I'm a happy person without beer. So we stopped. And that has become an issue, right? Because I have said it many, many, many times. I don't drink. I can't drink. Don't ask. Just don't. Because I feel like now you're telling me, stop over exaggerating. Oh my God. Oh God, right? It just don't. If I choose not to drink, guys, because I'm telling you why I chose to drink, stop drinking. I chose to stop drinking so I can live even that much longer than expected. Because there are complications to lupus, and there are cases where people die of complications from lupus. And I do not want to be that statistic because of my kids. And if people don't understand that, then that's when we push them away from the circle and do you, boo-boo. Do you what helps you. Because that's just the way it is. So they did tell me that, you can't drink, stop the drinking. So we did that immediately. And, stay away from the sun. The sun is not your friend. And let me tell you guys, the sun is not my friend. I will flare up in a heartbeat, and it's painful. When I talk about flare-ups with lupus, there's a lot of kinds of flare-ups. There's the flare-ups where you get what is that called? Sores in your mouth. I have not experienced that yet, guys. But when I get a flare up, I get the butterfly on rash on my face. And that is what lupus is commonly known for, the butterfly on your face. And it's also the symbol of lupus along with the color purple. So that's me when I flare up. I also know I'm flaring up because all of a sudden, like I mentioned to you guys, I get this, it comes out of nowhere. And I remember we're grocery shopping, and I tell my husband, baby, we need to hurry up. He goes, why? Right? And I said, it's coming. I'm getting tired, baby. And he's like, oh my goodness, right? So I'm pushing and pushing and pushing to get and overcome this heaviness of tiredness that I'm feeling. And I told him, baby, I'll kid you not, I am going to lay down at the bottom of the, you know how they have racks at the grocery stores? I told him, I'm going to hide underneath that rack and go pay or whatever. I go, and I will text you when I'm ready for you to pick me up. And he's looking at me like, babe, and he's kind of laughing, right? Because he's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. But it happens, guys. That's what it means, so thank God we pushed through or whatever. And then I learned how to distract my mind, if you could say so. And I pushed through. I call that pushing through that symptom right there of the heaviness of the I'm so tired. Just the other day, I was working on orders, and here comes this big heaviness around me. And I told my husband, baby, a 30-minute nap. That's all I need, right? I don't think I could push through this one, but that's all I need. And he said, yeah, baby. So I'm like, no, you're not going to pick me. You're not going to wake me up. I know you. He goes, no, I will. So I put in my alarm at 8 o'clock because I'm like, no, he's not going to pick me up. I kid you not, guys. I woke up at 11 o'clock at night. I went to bed at 7 to take my power nap. And I woke up at 11. I go, babe, I told you to wake me up. He's like, look, babe, you were snoring, first of all. And your alarm went off and the phone was next to your ear and you didn't even budge. So we came to a conclusion, your kids and I, not to wake you up. You're welcome, right? And I'm over here like, oh my God, I got things to do. And he's like, let it be. And you know what? I let it be. I didn't worry about anything and I went right back to bed, guys. But that's what I'm talking about, that behind the scenes, you guys don't see the behind the scenes. I am a workaholic. I work full time. My day starts at 5 in the morning. My night ends maybe 10:30, 11. 10:30 if I'm lucky. 11 is a good night. A lot of times people think, oh, they stop going out because they're boring or they're old or anything else you want to, insert here. And not knowing the conditions. I had been dyeing my hair with highlights, and maybe I'll find a picture and post it for you guys. Since I was, I'm going to say 16. Okay. I'm 36 now. So for the past almost 20 years, I've had nothing but highlights done in my hair. And because of my lupus, and the inflammation of this condition, I could no longer dye my hair. When I have a flare up, I get scabs, guys, and I don't want to be nasty and start, digging in my hair for scabs, but I get scabs, and the scabs are painful because they stay open and then they close to become the scab. So I think the last time I dyed my hair, I nearly died. And if you guys know anything about hair, the chemicals, they burn, and to have highlights you have to sit in that chair for 4 hours. And I'm like, no, I can't do this ever again. The heat, which again, guys, I'm supposed to stay away from the heat, I nearly died. And I remember I told my husband, baby, I have lots of gray hair and I'm not gonna dye my hair anymore because it kills me and it's burning and it's not worth it. And if you guys could tell, this is my natural hair. I have grays. I've been having grays since I was 13 years old. And, sometimes we want to be judgmental. Maybe you guys see me and you're like, oh my gosh, she used to look so pretty. Her hair's done, her makeup done. And now you're like, oh, she doesn't even wear makeup. You guys don't know the story then. And now you do. It's painful. It's painful for my skin to wear a lot of makeup on a daily basis. It's painful for my hair to have any product in it. I rarely wear hairspray. Rarely. And if you do see me doll up, it has taken a lot of mental preparation for it if you see me dolled up. So sometimes we want to talk bad about people and not know what's really going behind, the scenes. Like I said, you guys see me working all the time, running around with my kids. I have my son in, travel ball and pony ball. Valera's doing cheer. We do this. I have my side business. It's a big side business now. I don't even know if I could call it a side business. I'm at the point where it's going to be a full-blown business. I have another project on its way, and I'm always constantly busy. And you guys, the reason why I am constantly busy is because that is how I fight my lupus. I have noticed that if I stay active, I don't get as tired enough to where the point where I can't do anything. I will not let lupus win me. If anything, my mom said and has always taught us, even before her, I were, diagnosed with lupus, is even our common cold or flu, she will tell us, párense, we're not doing this, get up, we're not doing this. If you start laying down, the flu will win. Get up. The flu does not want you to stay active. Get up, start doing something. And you know what? It was true. You get up and, you kind of didn't want to do it, but now you don't feel sick as if you were laying down saying, woe is me, my fever, my chills, I can't get up. There are times at work, guys, that the way I get through an 8-hour shift is a lot of you guys look forward to your break so you guys could sit down and mingle in the break room or whatever it is you guys do in break. I sleep. I take naps in my car, believe it or not. If I'm not vlogging with you guys or doing my podcast, I'm sleeping. I have a blanket in the back of my in the back of my car with a pillow. And that is how I go through my days. Sometimes, I eat, I have a 30-minute lunch. I eat for 15 minutes. I take my lunch, and the other 15, I'm taking a nap. And that's the only way I could do it. Did you guys know that? I bet you didn't. So there are a lot of things that, come along with lupus. Inflammation, like I said, causes pain in your joints, especially. So my knees, my back, if it gets cold, forget it. No, forget it. It's not going to happen. My knees will pop out. I say pop out, but my knees start hurting, stabbing. It's painful, and I can't walk, and I'll just sit down and not move, and then I start saying a little prayer, and prayer helps me in everything I do. If you guys know me, you guys know that I do believe in Jesus, and I do believe in God, and I believe in the power of prayer, and I do pray, and I pray a lot because, like I said, you can't see lupus. You can't say, oh, by looking at me, you can't tell I'm sick. And side note, never tell somebody that has lupus you don't look sick. Oh, any autoimmune disorder, I have noticed that people are like, well, you don't look sick. I know. And I'm not going to look sick. So Thank God that we don't look sick, but we are sick and it is painful. And I don't know if you guys can see it. Do you guys see it? I'm flaring up so bad right now, guys, because I'm so anxious about this. But it'll calm down, guys. The way I treat it is I go get ice and I put it on my cheeks like that. And then when I'm at work, if they see me with my bags on my face, they're like, "Oh, you're having a flare up." Yeah, I'm having a flare up. Sorry, guys. So yeah, that's my lupus story, guys. I didn't want this to go on forever, but if anything you guys get out of my lupus story is, fight hard. Don't let it wear you down. Yes, there are a lot of symptoms that come along with lupus, but just because you haven't doesn't mean you have to be like, oh, there goes another, right? Because it's bad enough our immune system is attacking us. So when we're down and depressed and woe is me, your immune system goes even more down. So why would we risk doing that? Stay happy, stay excited. I'm excited with life. If that means removing toxic people out of your life, do it. I've done it. My circle consists of 5 people, guys. Other than my close, my family members, I have a close circle of 5. That's it. Because I don't need negativity. I don't need drama. I don't need anything that's going to flare me up. If anything else you guys learn from this story is ask questions, don't stop until you do get diagnosed. And, if it takes, 2-3 years, then it takes 2-3 years. But as soon as you find out what it is you have, you start your plan of action and follow directions. If the doctors say to do something, do it. Don't say, well, so-and-so, she does it and she's doing. No, your body is different. My mom took her Plaquemil, with milk, and that has been the savior of her life. But then again, she has never done drugs in her life. She has never drank in her life, and she has been a healthy person all her life, other than the lupus. So her lupus is way beyond control. Praise be to God. But what works for other people is not going to work for you either. Ask questions to your doctor who specializes in this, and it's not the end of the world. Ask questions before. Do a lot of research, read a lot. I read constantly on lupus. I read a lot on diets. I know they say that one of the things that help with lupus is avocados. And I'm over here like, because if you guys know me, I don't do avocados. So, yeah, that is my lupus story for you guys. Stay positive. If you guys didn't know, now you do. It is an everyday battle to stay healthy, to stay moving, to stay busy, and to accomplish a lot. There are some days that I just want to lay down and just say, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Let me go file for my disability. I can't. But like I said, lupus will not win. It cannot win. It will not win. So I hope you guys enjoy this story. I know it's more of my story. I should have disclaimed in the beginning that, this is what I'm going through, my story. By any means, do not take my story and diagnose yourselves or say, hey, I have the symptoms she has, or this is working for her. This is my lupus story. That's why it's titled My Lupus Story. And ask questions to your doctors. If you guys have been diagnosed with lupus, let me know. If you guys have been living with lupus, let me know. And if you guys have any suggestions or any, comments in regards to your guys' lupus, or anybody that that has lupus, let me down below. I would love to read them. And of course, I always comment back. I hope this was informative. I did this video because 3 people asked me about it. I hope it was informative for you guys. Until then, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And if you're at church or anything that you go, your place of worship, say a little prayer for us. Okay, guys? Till then.